Hello there, my name is Katya, and I'm an English teacher and a senior teacher at the foreign language school, right? That's the proper word. And today I wanted to talk about the production stage in low levels and how to do that. It can be suitable for online lessons, and that's what I did during my quarantine period. I had to have online classes instead of the regular ones. You can also apply it for offline classes and even hybrid classes when part of your students are at home and the rest are in your class. Now, why specifically do I concentrate on this issue and what's the problem with that? First off, I wanted to remind you that we have this PPP approach, which is a basic approach in communicative language teaching, which has received its part of criticism. However, it could be a very solid basis we can rely on when teaching. And the approach, in a nutshell, is that you present the material, then you practice it, and finally you produce some spoken or written language with it, which, well, basically every student in the class should produce, and that's the ideal situation. However, what I am experiencing is that students' books do not always give enough material for longer lessons, which is my case because the lessons in my school for children starting with 8 years old basically are 120 minutes long. It's a debatable issue on whether this kind of lesson is too long or too short. Well, I don't think anyone would say it's too short, right? But we have time for everything, for action songs, for watching a cartoon as a reward, or playing a game as a reward, and a lot of practice, and obviously production, which takes quite a bit of time, which I have already mentioned in my previous videos. You have to have enough time for production. And for shorter lessons, whatever the student's book suggests might be enough, but for my lessons, it's simply not. It's not enough, and I have to think about some other alternative, what else I can do and how can I do that. Now, I want you to see what the book suggests and what the student's book offers and how I like to develop it into something else, into another opportunity of giving them a chance to speak. Okay, now we're all set, and I have just one little remark why I say production stage at lower levels, because firstly, my examples concern lower levels, and secondly, because I find it more challenging to ask students with lower levels to practice their language, because we only give them very small chunks of language. We don't give, like, let's say, the whole present simple, where we can just download any kind of activity for speaking, speaking about daily duties. They can speak both about themselves and their friends. When we take lower levels, we normally focus on a particular structure, and we just cannot always download something ready-made and go for it. We normally have to adapt it to our textbook and work with it somehow. Okay, now I'm going to start with AS1. It's for 7/8-year-olds, and sorry, I'm just going to introduce you to this book, to Unit 5 that we were at when we started. The unit is called I Can Do It, and we've got actions, and some of the words were quite challenging to learn, such as throw, catch, kick, maybe, climb. Also, it's not easy for them to say. Then we learn a song, then we practice these actions with the pictures, then whatever, like I offer a lot of word wall activities and stuff for practice. Then we read this. The next lesson is we obviously revise this. Then we read a comic, we can role play the comic, we check whether they have understood everything correctly, and then they introduce grammar. If I look at my lesson plan, I mean, like the yearly planning, I have to do both in one lesson, so there is a lot to work on. We can name, like after a little revision, we can name all the characters, we can write down their names, because we have loads of time, you see. We can say what they are doing. It's okay if they can read a little already. It's okay if they can predict. We try to predict, oh, look, what's wrong with Bot? Is he okay? Is he good at jumping, playing football and stuff? We discuss it, we role play it, we do the reading, and then we move on to the grammar. We watch the video, and we normally take some notes. We focus on the structure, we highlight it, we write slightly different sentences. Maybe not I can swim, like I can run, he can catch, and stuff. At this point, I give some worksheets. We do some drills where we can take different actions and say I can, or we turn the positive sentences into negatives. All these concern repeating structures and using them in the right context, like in exercise 2, where they have to check the picture and write whether they can do it or they cannot do it. Obviously, they have to say something about themselves, what they can do and what they can't do. But still, I tell you, our lesson is so long that it's too little for us. So for the final exercise and a little bit of the output that we're all looking for to see how well our children are doing, I offer another opportunity. And what I use for all 3 of the levels this time is Jamboard, it's called. We have already done the task, and for this AS1 part, I don't have a video example, so like, stay with me. You will see them actually doing the tasks in levels 2 and 4. So we start with all these stickers below. So all of the stickers are below, and they have to choose and vote what mom can do and what dad can do. It doesn't really matter how they decide who can do what. It could be their personal experience. Let's say that mom normally cooks, or girls sing better than boys. I don't know, that boys are good at physical stuff and girls are not. Sometimes they argue that both mom and dad can dance. And then there's nothing easier than just copy and put it next to dad as well. They do it collectively. They decide. They can shout, I don't mind. They can shout out their answers. It's very easy to do. You have the Jamboard. And if it's clear, we can have a clear board for now. You can choose the background. It's convenient because you see it has little dots and you can move around the stickers. And first you're looking for the pictures. I normally type in mom PNG. PNG means a drawing, basically. That it's not going to be a photo, just a cute drawing. And Google actually offers a lot of cute drawings. They look like manga a little. Mom is usually depicted with a child because, like, how do we know that it's mom, not just a woman? And that's okay. Then the same way we look for dad, I will just repeat it one more time. You click on the picture and you have a lot of options, like take a photo of yourself. You don't want to do that. And then you would look dad PNG. You can use photos. I suppose that Google lets you use photos which are available. There are different variants for dad as well. Like, could be that one. Yeah, in my case, I had different photos. I have an issue with this one. And then you add stickers. Stickers could be different colors, that you can do them same color. You have a limited choice of colors. You just press on create a sticker and you write actions on stickers like cook, drive, read. I relied on whatever they have to know, basically, but they didn't really understand some of the words. Let's say cook was a little bit of a problem for them, but it's easy to translate. You can say make food instead. It's easy to explain. Speak English, some of them didn't understand. But it's okay. Sometimes you give easy words like sing and swim, they know them. Sometimes you give more challenging words. So the first task was to sort the actions. Who does what mom can do and dad can do. It's also crucial to have these inscriptions because they have to know what we are doing, right? To write an inscription, you basically press on the text and you type in whatever you want. You can change the color of it, the size of it, I think. Can you make it bigger? Ah, yeah, just by pulling the corner, you can make it bigger. You can probably make it, yeah, it's like, you know, the center, to the left and to the right. There are different kinds of, I wouldn't say there are different shifts, but anyway, there are different options for the text. And you just drag it wherever you need. You can copy it like this. It's very easy to use Jamboard. It's very primitive outside, and it's good for me because, let's say, I don't use Miro board because it scares me. And I've seen lessons on Miro. To me personally, they look, I don't know, they look messy to me. I don't criticize. I actually think you can design great lessons there, but I think it's not. It's very time consuming. I don't have time for that. If you have, you can try Miro. Obviously, do that. Another thing I did is I made examples for them. Yeah, like we sorted the actions. Here we are. The actions are back. I just copied the previous page, I guess. And I made examples for them. I used the text again. And I found pictures of a tick and a cross. It's very good that Google looks for the pictures with transparent background. This way, like, it looks very aesthetically pleasing because when you move the picture, it doesn't cover the background with its white background. It looks very nice. And if you change to blue, doesn't look very nice blue. But yeah, you can change to the darker one or download your own. It still looks nice. Also, I use this marker. Where's the marker? Here it is. No, where was it? There are different types of pens here, and I use the one which is called the marker, or highlighter, I suppose it would be named in English. And you just use the color you want, and the highlighter is transparent. Yeah, you see? So it kind of looks like a real highlighter. It doesn't cover the text. You can see through it, and it's nice. So I gave examples for them of what mom can do and what dad can do, which is really nice. And they saw the modal, which they can rely on. They had to read. And then I just copied the same thing. I just left blank spaces for them. Since it was an online lesson, I asked them to write down themselves, draw mom, draw dad, and write down whatever they can do. If it was a regular lesson, I could download it as PDF and print it later as a worksheet for them. So mom can and she can't, or dad can and he can, would already be there for them. And it's not a bad thing. Why not? Filling in is okay, and later they move on to creating their own sentences. As you can see, some of them required some new words, such as speak Japanese. It was my personal idea when someone said, oh, my mom can do everything. And I said, can she speak Japanese? And they said, Japanese? What's that? And I said, well, I basically translated it to them. And they say, okay, right, you got me. She cannot do that. They didn't say it at first. They tried to lie. They just didn't want to write the second sentence, I think. Yeah, skating was needed for someone. Maybe some of their parents couldn't do this. And studying maths for some girl. It's okay. I encourage them to use what they know. But if they ask for one additional thing and they just don't know what else to say about their parents, why not? So this was it for AS1. It was a good way to encourage them to speak more, because they have already told me what they can do. Excuse me. And they didn't tell me about their parents yet. So I thought, since can be applied for both I, he, she, you, all the persons in singular and plural, why not? It was a good activity, and they had their time to present their works. If you're short of time, they can tell their partner about their parents, and then just you put it on the corkboard or wherever you can. The next one would be AS2, and I have a video for this, and I will include the video too, so that you can check how my students are doing this task. But first, I show you the page. In AS2, the students are already 8 to 9 years old, and they're very bright in my group, very quick. And I have to include a lot of practice, exercise, and a lot of output exercise, additional output. In this unit, we learn the weather, but it's not really relevant. We learn present continuous. They are not bad at all at using it. Obviously, they make mistakes with I am or his. It's okay. We learned positive and negative forms in the previous lessons. Then we had a text, which also included these forms. And then we studied the sounds, blah, blah, blah. And later we are at the unit, at the lesson, where you can see the questions with present continuous. And the question is basically, what are you doing? What's he wearing? We don't have a variety of questions. They are not taught at this stage. But what are you doing is a very good question. It's very versatile, and it's asked a lot. Who would argue that? This topic is presented to us as language in use. That's why it's not sheer grammar. You know that a lot of grammar is given as set phrase or chunk in this age for starters, and it's absolutely okay. But it also implies that we have to make a dialogue and we have to speak. If it was an offline lesson, I'd probably ask them to do more in pairs, but for an online lesson, I did something altogether, and then I used this smaller task, which was offered by the book, for them to work individually. And it was a very smart move, and I suppose it worked out well. I didn't spend all the time in session rooms. You know, in Zoom, you put them in session rooms, and they work in pairs. But I could hear that they are working, and they're using the dialogue to make their own dialogues. So obviously, we started with a revision, then we did the video, we read the dialogue, then we practiced using present continuous by doing worksheets again, by doing some exercise, by doing like spin the wheel in WordWall. And later, I basically stole the task from the book, and it's okay to do that, but I altered it a little bit. A boy and a girl are at the fun fair, and the boy has lost his brother. He's looking for him, and they have a sort of dialogue where she asks what's he wearing, and then she finds a brother for him, and he says, oh yes, I can see him, and my friends too. And they just replace brother with sister, whatever the brother was wearing with what the girl was wearing, and so on. So I did the same for mom, who is lost this time. Here we have her clothes. It's it kind of matches the picture that I managed to find. Then it's her activity. They know it already. Take photos and eat ice cream. They also know it. And this one was supposed to be brother, but I think some of them suggested that someone is looking for their son. Okay, whatever. I don't mind it. And you can see how they are doing the task. I'm going to show it now.
Look, she's
Over there.
over there.
Liz.
Where?
Where? Mhm.
Where? What's she doing?
Okay, Masha, can you say what she's doing? She is.
She is takes photo.
She's taking.
Taking.
Yes, she's taking photos. Okay, right. And who can do the last one? Liz, can you do? You want to? Ну ладно, Маш, подожди. Liz, can you do the last one? Oh, yes.
Oh yes, I can see him.
Sure.
I can see my friends too. They are
What are they doing? Look, Liz, we have a hint.
play basketball.
Eating.
Eating ice cream.
Yes, very good. They're eating ice cream. Okay, let's do the second one. This time we are looking for who?
Boy.
For a boy. Okay, is it brother?
No.
And who?
Slim.
Son. Okay, right. Now let's see. Sonia, can you read number 1 and Sophia number 2? Sonia.
Where are you doing?
No, Sonia, look attentively. It's what? Right?
What are you doing?
Sophia.
I'm looking for my
Who is it? Son? Okay. Son. Okay, right. No, I don't know.
Как сан, это как солнце.
No, Sonia. Son is like this. Sonia, look attentively. Sonia, can you see? It's with O, right? It's written in a different way. Okay, right. Now, Lisa, read number 3 and Sonia number 4. Liz.
What she wearing?
Okay, Sonia.
She's wearing.
Oh, no, it's not she this time. It's
he.
he.
He's wearing. He's wearing. He's wearing a green jacket.
Jacket or jumper?
Jumper and blue jeans.
Okay, right. Now, Sophia, read number 5 and Masha number 6. Look.
Look, he's over
There.
there.
Okay, Masha.
Where? What's he doing?
Okay, right. Who can do the next one? Dash. He's. Dash. Dash, say again. He's. Okay. Yes, he is playing football. I cannot hear you very well, Dash, for some reason, but I see that you say he's playing football. And the last one is for Sonia. Oh, yes. Только не his, а him, Mash.
Oh, yes, can see
him.
Him can see my friends too. They are tennis.
They are tennis or they are playing tennis?
They are playing tennis.
Right, very good.
I think you noticed that for some of them it was more challenging than others. It doesn't stop me from introducing these kind of tasks because you see through trial and error. Some of them also you can see were more excited than others, and it's also okay. You cannot be liked equally by everyone, and not everyone can like studying English specifically the way you liked it as a child or the way you would want them to like it now. But I suppose this exercise was successful, and what we did later, I moved on to page 63 and I used a little bit of L1 of Russian, in my case, to explain the task to them, to say that they have to do the same thing as we did together, but we did it as a group, so everyone filled in their own sentence, and we did the whole dialogue as a group, and now one person is going to be red, another one is going to be blue, or A and B. And you have to take turns. First, who's student A? Let's say student A is blue. First, student A is the one who is blue, and they fill in their own words, and then student B fills in their own words. It worked very well, and I really doubt that it would work as well if I didn't have this prep task, additional task for them. Finally, we move on to the next level. It's AS4, and they are basically teenagers, or pre-teenagers. First off, we had to do it's also language in use. You see, it's not grammar, but it is grammar as a chunk, and it's let's do something. There are some important parts to it where we have to keep in mind that after let's, we only use infinitive, and then we have to, which shows purpose, and we discuss it with them in the video. You will hear that. In this lesson, first I pre-teach these words. They practice. I added some more so that it wouldn't be so boring for them. Then we do the dialogue. They read it in pairs. They do some practice exercise, and finally we move on to this one. The idea is simple. I use the stickers. I've already shown you how to use the stickers. I wrote the new places such as fishmongers. It's a very strange word. Do you guys use the word fishmongers? Because I've seen it for the first time in this book. I actually saw it last year for the first time in this specific book. I don't remember seeing it. Greengrocers or whatever it was, chemists, butchers. Yeah, these I know. But fishmongers, okay. Anyway, I wrote different kinds of places such as airport, library, and yada, yada, yada. And they had to use the ready-made structure. Let's go to the ba-ba-bum to do something. And here we have an example. Let's go to the supermarket to buy some candy. It worked very nicely. You can see from the video. The next stage is also recorded in the video. After they have said many times what they have done, in an offline class, you can do it this stage where everyone makes sentences in the written form. You can do it in pairs or small groups. We did it just one by one for several reasons. The group is quite small. There were, I think, 4 people only. Also, they are not really motivated. You see, a lot of them had their cameras off, and this is something I don't fight when I have to deal with teenagers, when they're not my individual students. They are a group, and this is for a short period of time. Yeah. Later, what they had to do is they had to make their own list where they would write what they need to buy. And other people will look at the lists and give recommendations. And at this point, we discussed that let's do something is quite different from you need to do. Where in the first variant, we want to join the person and do it together. And in the second variant, we only indicate that this person has to do something. I use a variety of modal verbs because they could be used in real life. You need to, you should, you have to. Now I'm going to show you the video.
Let's go to a sports center and to maybe do some exercise.
Okay, perfect. Right, Yegor.
Let's go to the library.
For what?
To read book.
Books, right? Or to read a book. Very good. Now, Timur Alihodjin, where would you like us to go? Timur Alihodjin, are you here?
Еще раз, да?
Yes, right. We will exhaust every
Okay.
option.
Let's go to the shopping center to buy Lego.
Lego. Okay. Timur Bekov, now your turn.
Let's go to the hospital. Я забыл, как будет навестить.
To visit.
To visit my grandma.
Okay, right. Super. Now, can you look at my shopping list? I need to buy some bread, medicine, and vegetables. But I forgot. Where must I go to buy this? Can you help me, please?
Supermarket.
Right. So you have to say you need to go to
You need to go to a baker, and
the bakery.
after this you should go to the chemist.
Okay, right. So stop. Who can help me with the last one? Yegor, maybe you. Last, I have to.
You need to.
No. Sonia already said about bread and medicine. Use the last structure. Last, you have to go. Sorry. You have to go.
You have to go to the greengrocers.
Very good. Okay. Now, can you say let's in this case? Yes or no, Sonia?
Yes.
But you see, are you? No, you can only say yes. When you are coming with me, right?
Yes.
So, Timur Alihodjin, do we say yes when? Do we say let's when we are going together with another person, or this person goes alone? When do we say let's? When you go together with the person, or this person goes alone?
One вариант.
Number one, yes. When we go together. So I need to buy bread, right, Timur? If you say let's go to the bakery, it means you want to go with me, right?
Yes.
Which is not true, I think. Okay, right. I want you to make your list, please. What do you need to buy? You can write down maybe 3 to 5 things right now. You can use these places for you maybe to have some ideas, okay? Is the task clear? Sonia says yes. Timur Bekov, what do you have to do? Please make a list, okay?
Okay.
Right, so you write 3 to 5 things that you need to buy. You can imagine that. Можно это все выдумать. Thank you. I will give you 5 minutes for this. Егор, Тимур, Alihodjin, вы со мной? Вы в курсе?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, right. So I'm waiting for your lists now.
Можно еще раз задание? Я не очень.
Yes, okay, Timur. Make your own list. What you need to buy. You can use your imagination. Maybe you don't really have to buy
Я
this.
понял.
Sonia, what do you need to buy? Tell me.
I need to buy bread in the bakery.
No, don't say bakery. Just say bread. What else?
bread to get rich and to fly away.
Right, fly away. Fly away. Timur Baikov, what do you have on your list?
Pencils,
Mhm.
fish, soap, pot, knives.
Okay, pencils, fish, soap, what else? Pot, кастрюля.
Pot, yes.
And knife. Okay.
О, какой красивый план, особенно последний.
Right, very good. Yegor, what's on your list?
Я ничего не придумал.
Yegor, what do you need to buy, for example, please? It's not very hard.
No.
Mhm.
Не знаю.
Yegor, don't be lazy. What can you buy every day? Please think for one more minute. Timur, Алиходжин. Подумайте одну минутку. Timur, what do you have on your list?
Monitor, keyboard, and pen.
Okay. Pen. Okay. Right, Yegor, what will we?
Yeah, I buy food.
Food. Okay, what kind? Maybe croissant. You like it, right?
Yes.
Anything else? What kind of food? Meat, fish, vegetables? Meat.
And food.
Right. Meat
And
and
fish.
fish. Yes?
Yes.
Meat. Okay, meat and fish. Right. Now, please give advice. Now, Timur Alihodjin, tell Sonia where she needs to go. She needs some bread and to fly away. Timur Alihodjin.
She went.
No. Use these, please. You need to.
You need to go to the bakery and the airport.
Yes. After this.
After this, you should go to the airport.
Okay. Right. Now, Sonia, please give advice for Timur Baikov. Where should he go to buy?
Go market, maybe.
To the market.
To the market. After this, you should go to the cafe.
For what?
Last, you have to go maybe some supermarket.
Yes. So, and why does he need to go to the cafe? For what?
Fish and soup.
No, it's not soup, Sonia. It's soap for washing your hands. You see?
Oh. To the supermarket.
Okay, right. I think now you can buy pots and knives to the supermarket. Look, can you look at this one? It's called a stationery shop. You can yes. I am explaining. You can buy pens, pencils, markers, как они называются, notebooks there. You see?
Yes, это канцелярия.
Yes, right. Do you I like stationery shops? Do you?
Да кто их не любит?
I don't know. Some people don't care for them. They don't
Моя
care
мама.
much. Your mom doesn't like stationery. Okay, right. Now, Yegor, can you tell Timur Alihodjin where to go to buy things on his list? He needs a monitor, a keyboard, клавиатура компьютерная, and a pen.
Computer shop.
Okay, and where can he buy a pen, Yegor?
Yes.
Where can he buy a pen?
In канцелярия.
Yes. Look, I just have it for you here. In a stationery shop.
In a stationery shop.
Okay, right. Now, Timur Alihodjin, can you help? Oh, sorry, Timur Baikov, can you help Yegor and say where he can buy croissant, meat, and fish? Use these. You need to go.
Croissant, you need to go in the bakery.
Yes. Very good.
Then you need to go in to the butchers. And
Yeah.
then you need to go to the fishmongers.
Perfect. Okay, very good. So we have our own lists and places to go. Very nice.
The last comment that I'm going to make is I want you to take into consideration that children, especially the ones who are preteens, are very inattentive. And you could see me trying to ask them several times whether the task is clear, tell me what you have to do. And not all of them at all were listening nicely. And they ask you again and again, and you have to be patient and tell them again and again, basically. Especially when they're online, because they will distract. It's just the reality. Here we go. Another thing is, you can think that this output that we had at the end of the lesson was not really free enough. It was not long enough. However, a little goes a long way. That's a very, very well-known phrase, and it's not very original, right? However, it's true, and that's why people use it. That's why we repeat it. If you encourage your students to try to use the language that they have been practicing throughout the lesson at the end of the lesson, or it doesn't necessarily have to be the end of the lesson, but after they have practiced it, if you give them an opportunity to use the language, to talk about themselves, to personalize the language at the end of the lesson, even in very small forms at first, saying one sentence or saying a bunch of sentences. Later, years later, basically, it's never a fast process, especially with young learners. You will see that it really makes difference. So, yeah, I have to say that this is what I wanted to share. I hope my ideas will help you to see what the output could look like. Don't ask too much from yourself and your students, but still ask enough and make sure that you provide a lot of opportunities for them to practice and to use the language that you've been teaching them. Thank you for your attention and have a good one.